Hello Curious and welcome back. Even if you don't know much about theatre or the television series Pose, chances are that at some point, possibly around the MetGala season, you have heard about Billy Porter. This actor, singer and style icon has been named as a trailblazing individual who actively ensures society remains moving towards equality, acceptance and dignity for all queer people. And with his most recent role in the Cinderella remake starring Camila Cabello, it looks as if there is no stopping him. However, the actor did not have an easy start to life. What problems did he face as a young boy? How did he start his career? Why did his appearance at the 2019 Met Gala cause a stir? Is there anyone who occupies his heart? What do we know about the Cinderella remake? And what recent revelations did the actor make, and could it get in the way of his career? Stay with us until the very end to find out many interesting facts about Porter, but before we continue, don't forget to turn on the notifications and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. Before we get talking about his new upcoming movie and why some had looked at his role with some criticism, let's get to know the actor a bit. Billy Porter was born on September 21st, 1969 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to William E. Porter and Clorinda Jean Johnson Porter Ford. He has one sister called Mary. Young Billy grew up in a very religious Pentecostal family. That could be while, long before he realized that his future lay in the entertainment industry, Porter had thought about a different, much godlier career path for him. This is because for a brief period in his youth, he felt that his salvation lay in the church. In an interview with Esquire magazine, he talked about how at the age of 11 he gave his first and only sermon to his packed-out local church. Speaking of the publication, he said, "So many people felt something special energy coming from me in my life early on. It's immediately about a little preacher man. You're going to be a preacher, because it's the only space that they understand special energy like that." Though, as it would later turn out in life, he'd find a very different ways of expressing that special energy. But despite coming from a religious background, his early years were far from happy. For years, between the ages of 7 and 12, he suffered abuse at the hands of his stepfather, and so, when he turned 15, Billy had run away from home to work as a summer entertainer at Kennywood Amusement Park. He later returned home for a brief period, but then made his permanent escape at the age of 17 when he left for college. Having graduated from Taylor Aldrich High School in 1987, he enrolled at the College of Fine Arts at the Carnegie Mellon University and graduated with a Bachelor in Fine Arts in Drama. And to further his qualifications, he went on to earn a certification from the graduate-level professional program in screenwriting at UCLA. Even before his career had taken off, he was already rubbing shoulders with the Hollywood elite. Well, in this case, the future Hollywood elite. And all because in '92 he appeared in an American talent show, Star Search, where he won $100,000. Fun fact for you curious, he appeared on the same show as other future stars, which included a young Britney Spears. If you want to know what has been up with Miss Spears and why she thinks her house was haunted, you can check out our previous video by clicking on the link above. But for now, make sure to stay with us to find out Porter's recent revelation. After that, Billy turned to a career in theatre, appearing in shows such as the 1994 Broadway revival of Grease, Jesus Christ Superstar, Dreamgirls, Angels in America, and most notably, he took on the role of Lola in the Broadway production of Kinky Boots in 2013. For that role, he won both the 2013 Drama Desk Award for Outstanding Actor in a Musical and Tony Award for the Best Actor in a Musical. And in 2017, he reprised the role. But this man doesn't just perform in already written shows, he had even written and performed his one-person autobiographical show titled Ghetto Superstar, The Man That I Am. He did the show at Joe's Pub in New York City for 2 months in 2005 and was nominated for an Outstanding New York Theatre, Broadway and Off-Broadway Award at the 17th GLAAD Media Awards. Though now, let us leave the stage behind us and focus on the actor's screen career. Porter has appeared in many films. He had played a major role in Seth Michael Donsky's Twisted, where he played Shaniqua, a drag queen who befriends Angel and Lee. The movie was also an adaptation of Oliver Twist. Other famous movie titles that was been featured in include The Humbling, Noelle, and Like a Boss. Where the smaller television screen is concerned, he has also featured in episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race. He had also joined the cast of the 8th season of the popular FX series American Horror Story, which was titled Apocalypse. But without a doubt, his most popular television role is in the FX show Pose, where he plays the role of Prey Pell. Thanks to it, in September 2019, he was nominated for a Golden Globe Award and won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series, and thus becoming the first openly gay black man to be nominated and win in any lead acting category at the Primetime Emmys. And of course, if acting and writing weren't enough, Billy had also had a musical career. He released 4 solo albums, as well as featuring on a tribute album, It's Only Life, to songs of John Buccino, Adam Guttel's albums Myth and Hymns in 1999, and he also featured with Alan Cumming, David Rayleigh and Ari Gold in a cover of That's What Friends Are For, not to mention being featured on the original Broadway cast recording of Kinky Boots, and music featured on Pose. Adding to all this, Porter has also been seen as a fashion icon. He attributed his love of fashion from an early age to growing up in the black church, which he has described as a fashion show. His style went through many phases over the years, which included vintage, Abercrombie & Fitch, and geek chic. Though where fashion is concerned, the most certainly known how to make a scene on the red carpet, especially the Met Gala, which at times has caused quite a stir, such as in 2019 when he entered the red carpet while being carried by 6 semi-naked men while wearing a sun god ensemble. And as you can imagine, this has had people talking for a long time. But that year he also shocked at the Oscars, when rather than wearing the traditional evening suit, Porter decided to wow his fellow guests with a full-skirted, strapless velvet gown topped off with a tailored tuxedo jacket. He may have looked fabulous, but for him, the look was about more than just fashion. I've always wanted to wear a ball gown. I just didn't know when. From this moment, I want people to understand that you don't have to understand or even agree with other people's authenticity or truths, but we must all respect each other. But is his private life as explosive and talked about as his career? Well, not so much. As we mentioned before, Porter is openly gay, having come out at the age of 16, as he said, in the middle of the AIDS crisis. But where his love life is concerned, he is happily married. According to People magazine, the couple met at a dinner party in 2009 and dated for a while, but then broke up. They remained friends, though, and both had lingering feelings that they didn't address until 2015. In the interview, his husband, Adam Smith, candidly said, "It had been marinating with me, my love for him and figuring it out and coming to terms with it over the years." Adding on to this, Billy talked about the time that the two had gone to see the musical Hamilton when the confession happened. He said, "I love you and I've always loved you, and if there's any chance I would like another shot. I would like us to have another shot at this." A year after that, they got engaged, and just at the very beginning of 2017, the two had decided to get married, because for the actor it was important to do so while Barack Obama was still in power. And while there had not been so many controversies surrounding his private life, there surely has been about his most recent role in an upcoming movie. What movie is that? That is the hotly anticipated revival of the fairy tale that has been beloved by most, Cinderella. This one is described as a romantic musical comedy and stars Idina Menzel, Nicholas Galitzine, Minnie Driver, and Mamma Mia fans, get ready because Pierce Brosnan is going to be singing again. And of course, the role of Cinders is going to none other than the Havana singer Camila Cabello. And if you want to know more about why people had been talking about her recently, you can do so by clicking on the link above. The cast might have made people more interested in this movie, but it is without a shadow of a doubt Billy's portrayal of the fairy godmother, or godparent we should say, that had people talking, and not everyone found it to be awesome. The reason for this is because when the casting was announced, and the fact that Porter would play the fairy godmother, a character that has been predominantly played by women, and was a woman, he had said that he would make this version of the character genderless. Talking about it in an interview, he said, "We are presenting the character as genderless. At least that's how I'm playing it, and it's really powerful. This is a classic fairy tale for a new generation, and I think that the new generation is really ready." He added that while the kids are ready for it, this is the grown-ups that are slowing things down, as was evidenced by some reactions. While most were thrilled by the casting choice, some had claimed that Billy was ruining a beloved character and that soon political correctness would ruin all of Hollywood. But if you, like many, are eagerly anticipating this remake, it is set to be released in September by Prime Video. So good news because there's not long to go. However, recent shocking news coming from Billy Porter had nothing to do with his fashion or a genderless fairy godmother, but this revelations in a candid interview with The Hollywood Reporter, where he had opened up about the fact that for the past 14 years he was living in silence about the fact that he was HIV positive. Talking about his 2007 diagnosis, he said that he was a part of a generation that was supposed to have known better, and yet that it had happened to him anyway. He talked about how that year was terrible for him to begin with. In February, he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. By March, he had signed bankruptcy papers, and by June, he was diagnosed HIV positive. At the time, the Cinderella actor revealed that he had just felt great shame, adding that growing up in a Pentecostal church with a very religious family, he was taught that this was God's punishment. Another reason that he kept the news to himself all this time was because making it public would also have been another way for people to discriminate against me in an already discriminatory profession. Opening up about his illness for the first time, he had said that the quarantine period had taught him a lot. He and his husband had rented a house in Long Island during this time so he could be away from it all and keep himself safe from COVID, as his pre-existing condition meant he was more at risk. Billy added that at this time had made him reflect back on the trauma and deal with it, and this also meant ripping off the band-aid of the news that he had shared with a select few and finally, after all this time, tell his mother. Though as the actor said, he had nothing to worry about as his mother was more than understanding, telling him to never keep anything from her as she is his mother and will love him regardless of anything. While many had taken to social media to congratulate Porter on his bravery for getting the courage to openly talk about this, some had begun to ask the question whether this would have any impact on his career and if he would stop getting roles because of it. But here it is worth mentioning that there are plenty of celebrities who had come out with their diagnoses, such as Charlie Sheen and Jonathan Van Ness from the Netflix show Queer Eye, and their careers had not faltered because of them publicly admitting that they were HIV positive. And one of the prime examples would also be Freddie Mercury. While he only made his news public 24 hours before his passing, it has not in any way ruined his image for the most part, or the legacy left behind by Queen. And if you want to know more about Mercury and the time he married a woman, you can check out our previous video by clicking on the link above. But going back to Billy, chances are curious that as long as he feels up for it, his career shouldn't be affected in the long run. But curious, what do you think about this situation? Did you know who Billy Porter was? What have you seen him in previously? Are you excited for the Cinderella remake? And do you think that his career could suffer because of the diagnosis? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.